From gardening to animals to extreme renovations, welcome to homesteading at College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today we're going to harvest our jalapenos. The jalapenos are ready. They're red. It isn't just jalapenos we're harvesting. We're going to harvest jalapenos and cayennes and habaneros because it's supposed to frost tonight. So I want to go ahead and get those out of the way. So if it frosts, I don't have to worry about it. We've got our condiment. Now, just so you know, jalapenos are on a Scoville scale between 3.5 and 10,000, 3,500 and 10,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. Most of them fall between 5 and 8,000 on the Scoville scale. A lot of them can be really fruity on the low end, and the other end they can have a little heat. But for the most part, jalapenos are not that hot. The next one we'll harvest will be cayennes. Cayennes fall on the Scoville scale between 30,000 and 50,000. I wouldn't want to eat a solid cayenne, but you know, some people would do that. And then habaneros will be the next one we harvest, and it's somewhere between 100,000 and 3.5 or 350,000. So they're relatively hot. And we harvest them all, and then after I get them harvested, I'll show you what we do with them. I want to get all of these just cut off. So we'll come through and just nip them off. Now, something I recommend, if you're not, your hands aren't pretty tough, like mine are, I'm used to doing this kind of stuff because, of course, since I've been off sick, my hands have tendered up a little bit. But if you haven't, you might want to wear gloves for the harvesting. That is going to be all the jalapenos Crystal and I will need for this part, because we've already canned some enough. So I don't know about you other gardeners, we use these plastic bags all the time at harvest time. So I'm going to put these up, put these in the bag, and I'll show you what we do with them in the house. That's about 2 quart jars, half gallon worth of jalapenos. Okay, now it's time to go get the habaneros, and I'll do the same thing, and the cayennes, and do the same thing. As you can see, there are quite a few habaneros, peppers on here. Now I always plant 4 plants, but this is only 2 plants. Well, I plant 4 because what if something happens? So this is only 2 plants, and it's more habanero peppers than me and Crystal can use. So I'm going to go ahead and get these off. I'm not going to worry about anything like that looks like it might have mold on it, but I am going to take all of these little things that look like this. That's a habanero pepper, and I'll show you what we do with them when we get in the house. So let me get all these cut off. Now, I've got a healthy respect for these. These are between 100,000 and 350,000 on the Scoville scale. If I touch them, I'm not going to touch my eyes. I'm going to wash my hands before I go to the bathroom. These are good and hot. It's the reason we only need one plant worth. So I'll get these cut off. I've got my cayenne peppers ready to string up. Now cayennes, we only dry those, and then we make pepper flakes out of them, or we grind them and make cayenne powder out of them. They're really good that way. Now I don't know what pepper they use to make red pepper flakes. It's probably not as hot as these cayennes. These cayennes are between 30 and 50,000 on the Scoville scale. So in order to do that, all you need is a needle and thread. And I'll bring you a little bit closer. I'm going to go ahead and put some thread on the needle, and I'll bring you a little closer and show you what we do. Alright, I've got my needle threaded. It's just regular old thread like goes on a sewing machine. I've got my needle threaded. So we go ahead and we start by running this needle right through this cap, and it's not easy to push through. Come on. There you go. Once it starts, it goes pretty good. Now this very first one, I will tie on at the end. Oop, come off there. One. Two. Okay, he's tied on, and I probably used too much string. That'll be all right. Now these others, I don't worry about where I stick them through. I stick them through where it's easiest. Now, what I do is I don't try and have too many on a string. I want to have enough to use the string up pretty good, but I don't want it to be so heavy that it might break the string. And I'm going to stop right there so that I can tie a loop and break my needle off. Come here. Boy, I can't hardly tie a loop today. Come on. Old fingers don't want to cooperate. There we go. There's a loop, and that's ready to hang up. So I get this one done, and then I've got one here. I probably can do one more of the cayennes, because we don't use a whole lot of cayennes. How much red pepper flake do you use a year? We use quite a bit, and we use quite a bit of powder, but these cayennes will supply a whole lot. All right, here's our jalapenos. You want to get rid of any that look like this, okay, that are bad looking. You don't want to use those. See, this one's got that black stuff on it, and I don't want that. You want to go through, and that's all right if they're wilty looking, because that's what you're going to do to them anyway. So, and it's all right if they're green. Okay, there were some green ones. So I've got my jalapenos. Now what we do with the jalapenos, we do them just like the cayennes. I'm going to string them up and then let them dry. Now, why don't I use a dehydrator for this? Well, the reason I don't use a dehydrator is if we were using a dehydrator to dehydrate these hot peppers, you'd have to evacuate the house. It'd be like you were sprayed with pepper spray. So I'm not doing that. Oh, there's another bad one. I'm not going to do that. But what this will do, these peppers will give us cayenne pepper flakes and jalapeno pepper flakes. Now, I do not do the habaneros this way. I will show you what I do to the habaneros in a second video. Okay, here's what we wound up with. There's 2 strings of cayennes and 2 strings of jalapenos. Now, where do we hang those? Well, the reason I use a coat hanger is so I can just have 1 cup hook and hang the coat hanger and hang 3 strings at the same time. And then use another cup hook for this one. Now, if you like this kind of stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of lifestyle, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. We upload every Sunday. So with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing in the habaneros.